And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. Welcome back, welcome back. I am a little earlier today than I normally am. And why is the reason I am early? Because I'm going to be streaming on Fanatics tonight, which normally is my day off, where I do YouTube streams, but I'll be live on Fanatics. So I figured, hey, I still want to make a live. Might as well do it a little earlier today, and maybe we'll catch some different people, because normally I'm live, between 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so maybe there's some people in other parts of the world. Who knows? Here we are. It is an early one. But the title of the video, do we survive the Pokemon crash? I feel like we're all coming out of our cardboard bunkers right now. Everybody's rubbing their eyes. We're looking up. We're seeing the sun for the first time in several weeks, maybe several months for some people. And we're looking around. Did we survive? I think we did survive. It was a rough go there for a while. Oh, I don't know. What do you think it is? Do you think the crash talk, do you think it's a fully content-driven thing where when people say, put crash in their thumbnails or whatever, it's just to drive hype? What kind of spurred this video is this? Do you know what this is? This is nothing special. This is just HP ink. What is the HP ink for? The HP ink is from my printer that I think I got in, I don't know, 2010. That printer is still going strong with its nice HP ink. Tap. Tap, I appreciate you being... Alright, ooh, Tap gifting the 10 PK memberships. Tap, I appreciate you, buddy. But, yeah, I went to get my ink. I went to Walmart because, you think that, oh, you'll know you're going to run out of ink. You'll buy it on Amazon. You'll have it delivered. No, not me. I literally just ran out, so I instantly had to go to Walmart to pick up ink. So I go there, and, I don't get to go to Walmart very often. One, the Walmart's not really close to where I live. It's like a pretty decent drive there, pretty decent drive back, but I went there and I looked at the sports card section. Do you want to know what was not there? Pokemon section. I said, that's okay. The crash has happened. Let me go to the toy section. I went to the toy section. That is where they keep the Pokemon cards at that Walmart. And I was actually there with my oldest son. He was riding like all the bikes and stuff, being an absolute D-gen, love them, in the store. But I went and I looked at the Pokemon section, and do you want to know what I found there? If your answer was nothing, you would be correct. It's pretty interesting that the major Pokemon crash of 2025, I still can't pick up product on the shelves. So, is that over dramatic? Yeah, what's the point of it? I don't know. I keep going back and I talk about this a lot. I do my little rants. I do my rants here on YouTube, but I do my rants on Fanatics too. And I just talk about the market. And people, it's the same thing. And it's the same dog and pony show. It's just beating the dead horse. And listen, not only am I going to beat that dead horse, I'm going to drag the dead body to the glue factory and I'm going to make some glue. It's just that simple, because at the end of the day, people keep looking around. They're asking me about stuff, and I've just gotten to the point where it's just like, I don't want to like do the entertainment for the super modern stuff. It's crazy. This hobby is very much like blinders. We could only see sets that are 1-2 months old. Like, people are asking about Mega Evolutions and Destined Rivals, and the answer is I've just gotten to the point where there's so much in this hobby. Like, stop focusing on the super, super ultra modern stuff like Surgeon Sparks, Destined Rivals, Mega Evolutions. Like, if you want to speculate a little bit on that, go ahead. I am. I put 2 cases of each of those. Destined Rivals, I put away 4 cases, actually. I have 4 cases of Destined Rivals, 2 booster boxes, or 2, not boxes, 4 cases of Destined Rivals, 2 cases of Mega Evolutions, and then I only bought 2 cases of Phantasmal Flames, and I'll just put those away for the just in case, because I don't know. But that's not really where I'm focusing my time. It comes to the conversation, right? We're going to do PK, you going to name every set again? No, I'm not going to name every set there, Timmy, but let's do the Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, Chillin' Rain, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest. Do any of those sets scream to you reprint? I would say the answer is probably no. It's like, maybe just focus on this shit. Or maybe if you want to go modern stuff, let's go Scarlet and Violet. Like, Sword and Shield base. Or Sword and Shield base. Scarlet and Violet base. Paldea Evolved. Obsidian Flames. Paradox. Temporal. Any of those sets? Like, but like, people are like, nah. Destined Rivals. mega evolutions, surge and sparks. And it's just like the amount of gray hairs people are giving themselves just worrying about this stuff is just wild. Listen, Pokemon's a freight train. I know I say it all the time. Pokemon's a freight train going down the track and they just keep moving. And stop focusing on just all the super modern stuff. Like if that's what's stressing you out, like there are so many other options in this hobby. Like, you know, I came on the channel and everybody's, I try to make it entertaining. I don't get to do the crash outs on Fanatics Live. I don't get to, go crazy yelling to the microphone, but I like to do it on YouTube because at the end of the day, well, I get to play a little bit of a character, and so I like to come on and I like to do the, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, throw stuff around because it's fun. Just like, and I'm not going to say I stole that from Rudy with Rudy throwing his chair at the beginning of every video, but you know what? You get to play a character and you get to do your crash out. Man, I do my little crash outs and I tried to warn everybody, and it's crazy that I always see there's like a little lag of almost like PK is talking on his ass and then things start to come true. Like I was like, hey everyone, institutional money is entering the hobby, just so everyone knows. And then everyone's like, no, it's not. And then a couple months later, all these people are making videos talking about like institutional money. And then everyone, if they hear about the last convention or last Collecticon, somebody from GameStop was walking around the floor and they had $1 million in cash in their pocket and they were buying up stuff. And everybody was like, I can't believe it. And then everybody's like, oh, did you know, what about PSA offers and stuff? And can you believe the PSA offers? And they're offering 90% and they're gonna, knock out the local guy doing card shows and stuff. And it's just like, I can't. I can't. Come on. None of this surprises you guys, right? But then at the end of the day, I think it does surprise people, even though I come on here and I'm throwing stuff and then it's the same thing as where you could take me out of context where I said, and there was a while back where I was like, you should grade everything right now. Now, that's where you could end that right there, that sentence, and you could clip that video and you could put it into a short or something and say, look at that, PK saying grade everything. No. If you are a good pre-grader, you can grade everything and make money. Now, is there longevity to that? Is there sustainability? Does that go into foreverness? No, it does not. But right now, today, it's like, why? I'm like, why not? The craziest cards I've seen come up, like graded, selling for premiums because they have like these weird prices, like uncommons, commons, regular EXs, Gengar Hollows from 151. Go. Pause this video. I'll be here when you get back. Go type in Gengar Hollow. Just the regular hollow, the one that you get in like 1 out of every 3 packs or whatever. Maybe not 1 out of 3, but pretty common. Just go look at that card in a PSA 10. We're not talking about an impossible card to grade. You're talking about a card that's in every bulk box that exists throughout the country, potentially the world. There's a Gengar Hollow from 151 in a bulk box. Go look at the PSA 10 prices and then tell me you can't grade everything. There's limits to everything. Man, we're really pushing the limits of what's possible, though. And my fear was and has been and probably always will continue to be, will be the depth of the market, right? What is the absolute truest depths of the market? Like the abyss, the bottomless hole, which is Pokemon, the bottomless hole, the bottomless abyss of what is demand. How is there really truly no bottom? I've been fucking free falling for a long time. You ever seen the movie 300 where he's like, this is Sparta, and he just kicks the dude like right into the giant well, and then the dudes just fall into the well? That was me. Pikachu just came and freaking gave me the Pikachu drop kick of all time, and I'm still falling in this well, just free falling. Is there a bottom? I would think there is. I sure have not found it yet. How long does this last? I don't know, but guys, get yours while it's there. Listen, when I quit my job in February, some people question that. Shout out Tear Bear. Tear Bear, love you. But Tear Bear probably thought it was a terrible thought. Think about when I quit my job, February 1st. What perfect timing that was. Perfect timing. You're going to say, when did the hobby really start to like go crazy? You're probably going to look back and you say, well, early 2025. So February 1st. Yeah, February 1st probably falls in a pretty sweet time to go full time Pokemon. And it's like, why? Because we were booming, but it wasn't. You just know, right? Like if you just know, you know. If you guys all know. Like everybody, you could, you don't have to see it. You could smell it. You could use senses you didn't even know existed. You go walk that Collecticon floor. You sure don't. You bet you wish you didn't have a sense of smell. But in this hobby, you can just smell when things are about to go crazy. When the institutional money comes in. I mean, I had Nat Turner on here, and he talked about the PSA vault. I was one of the first people that starts. Well, that's not a true statement. I was first in relative to PSA Vault. I started sending all my cards to the PSA Vault. Why? And that was before they even offered the buy it now. There was no such thing as PSA offers and stuff, but it was just whispers and inklings. And, you know, I tested out some stuff. I tested out the PSA Weekly, and I haven't had a submission from PSA shipped back to me in a pretty long time. And it's just like, send everything to the vault. And then the PSA offers came running through. And then, you know what everyone did? People were scrambling. They're panicking to send cards to the PSA vault, panicking to send cards to PSA for grading. I never had cards sent. Why would I do that? Like people just start freaking out because they're always late to the game. Always. You just can't be late to the game. You always got to be first. And if you're not first, you're last. To quote the great Ricky Bobby. Well, actually, that's Ricky Bobby's dad. If you're not first, you're last. That's what he lived his life on. Sometimes you got to live your life on that. Or the great Dominic Toretto, live your life a quarter mile at a time. Either one of those works. If you're not first, you're last. Live your life a quarter mile at a time. But here we are. We're doing our stuff. What a crazy hobby we're living in. The market crash that came and the market crash that went. Right before this live, I was like, I just gotta see like what are Phantasmal Flames booster boxes doing at pre-release right now. Still, like, we're a week away. I mean, tomorrow is the 7th, so it comes out on, at the time recording this video, on November 14th. So we're pretty much call it a week away. Pre-order prices are between $300 to $320. Like your P Football Pizza World are like $310s, right? That makes Phantasmal Flames the most successful modern booster box at release in the history of this hobby. Think about that. How are we still doing this? Set after set, release after release. We are still going live. We're still talking about this. Every single time. We're still talking about this. Think about that. Think about it. We are still talking about it every single time that the newest set is the most successful release of all time. And people are going to say, you know, no one really saw this really coming. I know some people aren't going to believe this because some people are new to the channel, but I promise you, when when Twilight Masquerade was released, you know what I did? I brought up Hills Wholesale Gaming and I put up Twilight Masquerade booster boxes at $596. You know what I did? I literally came on this channel and I said, listen, everyone, I don't know what it is, but I could feel it. I could sense it. I believe I could feel it in the air. I said, I want you guys to watch this set, and we're going to do heat checks on this, and I think it's going to do really, really well. Because something is changing right now. And that was before Surgeon Sparks came out. Everyone always says, let's point to Surgeon Sparks as the catalyst. Like from Surgeon Sparks on is when the market started to go crazy. I started talking about the craziness of the market when Twilight Masquerade booster box cases were sub $600 for a case. And then every week we went on and I did Twilight Masquerade heat checks. And that's literally what I called it. I said, let's do a heat check. And every time that and it was just ticking up until eventually Surgeon Sparks, Twilight Masquerade was super expensive by that point, and I don't do Twilight Masquerade heat checks anymore because it doesn't matter anymore. But at the time, it did matter because there was just something happening. And I can't always definitively say I know what it is. It is a subjective term in itself, but it felt like the winds were changing. And man, I will tell you right now, the winds are still fucking blowing. It's crazy. It's crazy. The crash that never was, huh? That is what we're running into. The crash that never was. I I will tell you though, things that I do worry about. The amount of people that are worried about the crash, because I don't think it's all social media and stuff, but like there are a lot of people that were panicking over 10-20% like downturns. Like that scares me in the sense that these people, they don't even know. You don't even know what a real downturn. You want to know what a real crash is? Like that scares me, because you already started seeing people panic sell, like with some of the craziest gains in the history of this hobby, like historic in the we're coming up on the 30th anniversary, in the 30th in the 30-year history, the 30-year run of Pokemon, we saw some of the most parabolic gains and the craziest bull market, like a market that we might talk, again, I talked about this in 2020, 2021. We might have talked about 2020, 2021 from forever, and we might always talk about it as being the height of the market and we'll never get back there. And 2020, 2021 doesn't even look like a blip on the radar now compared to what 2025 has been. But maybe the same way as I thought maybe we would talk about that, maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year that 5-10 years from now we look back on this and we talk about this as the craziest of times, and you got people panic selling and like this crazy market where I went in to buy my HP ink or printer ink and there was no product still. Like, is that it? Is that the definition of a crash? Is when I still can't get product? Still? Come on. Like, there's nothing out there. There's scraps. We're still living in the days of Pokemon Center selling out. And it's not like we're saying we're living in the days of PokemonCenter.com selling out of pre-releases of, Pokemon Center ETBs and booster boxes. No, no, no. Shout out to the Referral Discord. We're living in the moment of everything selling out. They dropped Astro Radiance booster bundles the other day. You had to be there, like, before it happened. There was, what else was there? There was the Fusion Strike Battle Styles 2-pack blisters with the promos or whatever. Like, there were people waiting in queue for an hour and they didn't get anything because everything had already sold out. Like, we're not even talking, like, big product. Just anything. Anything that has packs in it just instantly sells out. Now, and it goes back to, again, beating that freaking dead horse, bringing him to, and dragging his ass to the glue factory. I mean, really, really dragging it. And horses are heavy, but we're going to drag that horse to the glue factory. Does this go on forever into perpetuity? I don't believe that. I don't believe that in 20 years from now, I'm sitting behind this same desk, blasting the same farts into the same chair, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look into this camera and tell you guys, like, I can't believe for the last 20 years I haven't seen product on the shelves. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think that's a thing. But how long? I don't know. Listen, we got Mega Evolutions coming up. Well, we had Mega Evolutions, we got the new Phantasmal Flame, we got the Zard, we got the next set, best Zard of all time, and then in January we're going to have another Mega set. It's probably going to have a Mega Rayquaza. And like we say, and like Dan says, don't underestimate the artist's ability to art. And that's the thing, like, Pokemon has this crazy innate ability to just, they throttle so much of what is possible. And what I mean by that is you could go on your Twitters or X or whatever you want to call it, and you could go on X and you could look at people's posts, and you know how many fan-made cards are better than anything we see in Pokemon? Like, there are so many good fan-made artworks. We don't get good cards all the time. Like, we are very, very robbed. And you don't have to look too far. You could just look at Pokemon Pocket. Look at how many awesome, digital artworks are on Pokemon Pocket that maybe we'll get in English one day, but probably not. There'll probably be a lot of those will stay, digital exclusive artworks, but even those are better than what we get. But like, artists will one day have the ability and the runway. What was the best Charizard artwork that ever existed? That could have been an argument. Now, they're going to have a lot of people that are going to tell you the best Charizard artwork is going to be the Phantasmal Flames Charizard. Do you want to know what? There's probably a good argument to that, but you want to know what the best Charizard artwork ever is? is the one in the future that hasn't been released yet. And that's the thing about Pokemon. It's the next best is always the best, and the next best might be. So, has the best Umbreon artwork that ever existed been released? Some would say yes, PK. It was Evolving Skies. The Moonbreon is the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be for that artwork. I don't think so. Why? Right there. Vincent Van Gogh, right? Starry Night. What do we get? We got Vincent Van Gogh, Pikachu with a gray felt hat. I promise you, and I promise you in my deepest heart of hearts, is deep, dark soul, just like the Grinch heart was too small until eventually it grew too large, that I promise you, if we ever saw an Umbreon Starry Night, it's over. You think a Pikachu with gray felt hat. Do you know how many people could name Vincent Van Gogh with a gray felt hat? Like that was the painting they chose. Like all you art aficionados out there fucking knew what the Vincent Van Gogh with the gray felt hat was. Yeah, sure you did. Sure. You never heard of that painting before, but everyone knows Starry Night. Can you imagine an Umbreon in that artwork? Good night. Game's over. It's just it becomes the best artwork. You know what I'm saying? So the next artwork is always the best artwork, and it has been, and it will always will be. Where are we though? But we survived the Pokemon crash. I don't know how long all this lasts. I don't. It's funny. It's funny to watch. I don't have a lot of time all the time now to like get deep down the weeds of everything, but I do wonder how long this Mega Block is gonna last. And I always wonder like what's the next thing, right? I'm always kind of living in the future. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing to always kind of live in the future of what is Pokemon. We came off a bunch of 12 sets, right? XY base to XY12 was Evolutions, that was 12 sets. Sun and Moon base to Cosmic Eclipse, that was 12 sets. Sword and Shield base to Silver Tempest, that was 12 sets. But then for Scarlet and Violet, we saw Scarlet and Violet base to Destined Rivals, that was only 10 sets, right? SV1 to SV10. And now Mega Evolutions is coming up. How many Mega Evolution sets are there going to be? We already know there's 3. Is it going to be like a Platinum base, Rise and Rivals, Supreme Victors, Arceus? Or like a Heart Gold Silver, which has 4 too? Heart Gold Soul Silver base, Unleashed Undaunted. Oh wait, Heart Gold Soul Silver base, Unleashed Undaunted, Triumphant. Is it going to be 4 like that? I don't know. Call of Legends kind of just a standalone, so I'm not going to count. We could count Call of Legends with Heart Gold Soul Silver. That will make some people. That would trigger some people. But is it going to be 4 sets? Is it going to be 5? We know it's going to be 3 because I already got sets coming out in January. Or is it going to be like a Diamond and Pearl, DP1, Diamond and Pearl base to Stormfront, Diamond Pearl 7. Is it going to be a 7 set? I don't know. But I'm interested to see how Mega Evolutions plays out because you know what? You could have made the argument that Mega Evolutions was one of the down times of Pokemon and probably some of the Pokemon a lot of people didn't care about when you talk about Mega cards, and you didn't have to look too far back to go all the way to XY and say, did a lot of people really ever talk about Mega cards? And I'd say the answer to that is a resounding no. At least I never heard people talk about it. Once in a while you would hear people talk about XY, but not all the time. Like I would love to have a conversation about XY, but that's not what people would click on, right? Like if you want to make content, you got to talk about whatever the newest set is. You can't talk about XY. That's boring. Click. Oh, hit the dislike button on your way out. But it just shows like people just like stuff when it becomes new, and I have been noticing that, and it's continuing to happen. The educational gap in this hobby, it's growing and closing at the same time. What do I mean by that? I mean the amount of people entering this hobby every single day is just an ungodly amount, and there's going to be a lot of people they're going to like fall victim to a lot of things, unfortunately, in the hobby. That's just part of this hobby. But at the same time, I'm watching as people that were maybe pretty new to this hobby and were were playing victim to a lot of this stuff, or being preyed on. These people are all learning and they're sticking around, and it goes back to that rant I talked about with Rudy. I love Rudy. I think he makes great content. I think some of his Pokemon takes are maybe not always with what I agree with, but I think the overall take of what Rudy talks about talks about it from a more macro where he's not really worried about like the characters and the set and the cards and the pull rates. He just cares that like it's a set, and that he can get product from his distribution. I think that's what he cares about. But of all the things that Rudy ever says, one of the things that it has been and probably will continue to be, and I push back on it more as the time goes on, Rudy says the average person is in the hobby for 6 months, and I'm just pushing back against that. I'm starting to see that's not true. There's definitely, but like that's the thing. You watching this video, forget about this. Oh, nice. There's 69 viewers watching this. Great job. Great job, chat. Nobody leave, nobody join. We keep it at 69. But you 69 people, oh damn it, somebody joined. We're at 70. Where were we? You 69 viewers, we're gonna keep with 69. You guys don't take a set off. Most people do. That's the thing. And just unprecedented demand of just, think about it. If 100 people a day join Pokemon, there's 50 states in the United States, not including all the countries in the world. There's over 100 states, but let's just, or 100 countries, let alone 100 states, or 100 countries, and there's 50 states. But that's 2 people per state in the United States join per day. That's 100 people a day. That's 3,000 people per month join Pokemon, and that's if 2 people join a day. And something tells me that that number is a little higher than 2 people per day join Pokemon. But let's just say it's 2 people per day in the entire United States out of all 50 states. So that's, or 2 people per state per day. That's 100 people. That's 3,000 people per month. And I talked about this before. A decent size allocation from distribution, like one that you've worked on and you've built up, and this allocation didn't just pop up yesterday. You built it. You get 3,000 booster boxes at release. Like, good for you. Hey, you got a great distribution account. You get 3,000 booster boxes, and you are what I would consider a bigger distribution account because you get 3,000 booster boxes a day. I just told you there's 3,000 people join them per month. And some of the biggest allocations are 3,000. Well, what if everyone wants one? Goodbye allocation. Poof, where did it go? Poof, gone. Evaporated into thin air. It's like it never even existed. Well, what happens if one of those people breaks the mold and goes against the curve and wants a case? Oh boy. Well, now we're in the negatives. Where's all this product going? Like, that's the thing. It's just, we are dealing with the law of large numbers. That is what this hobby is. It's just laws of large numbers. And we're seeing all-time record sales. We'll get to the point. Don't worry, we're not there yet. But we will steal Mr. James's from ZNG. I will steal his content pretty soon. Hopefully James has hooked me up and given me some new Instagram posts so that I could literally, I will steal those posts. I will talk about them, and I will turn it into my own stuff, which is tradition. Let me look. But every day, there's new record sale. New record this, new record that. And you want to know what? There are some of those vintage cards that are shown. It's a lot of modern stuff. Like crazy modern stuff. Pristine 10s of modern Pokemon, Beckett Black labels, even XY promos. Vintage cards. Everything's going up. Rising tides lift all ships. Remember that one? Fuck, that's true. It's like, but that's the thing. The law of large numbers is the more people that enter the hobby, not everybody has the same bankroll. Some people might only be able to afford one check lane blister of every set, and they get their 1 pack. And then there's other people who are lawyers and doctors and own hedge funds and do this and do that. And they have just what to you and I would feel like fake, unbelievable, fake money at that point. Because like you might have a fantastic job and you make $300,000, $500,000 a year, and you're fucking sitting pretty, and you're probably in the top 3% of earners in the United States earning over 300,000 or whatever you're earning a year, and you're in the top percentile. And then there's people that make 3, 4, 5 times that, like numbers you can't even comprehend it. And then to buy like a $10,000 pop 237 card, it's not hard for them to do. And in the same way, it's probably easy for you to buy a $40 PSA 10. It might be the same. And that's the thing. It's like law of large numbers. Like Not everybody that joins makes $1 million a year, but enough of a percentage of people join. That is a lot of money being deployed into this hobby right now. And with the law of large numbers, even if you have people buying one check lane blister with laws of large numbers, that's a lot of money per set, per month. And Pokemon is just not able to like meet the demand right now. And yeah, it's easy to go and say, oh, well, PK, you look at it in the last, I don't know the statistic, in the last 3 to 4 years, 50% of all Pokemon cards ever printed have been printed in the last 3 to 4 years. And it's like, yeah, if that number existed in 2009, Pokemon would probably be dead. Like, take it out back, give it the old Yeller treatment. That's what would happen in 2009 if you had this much being printed in that timeline. But with law of large numbers, like the amount of people now, it's eating up this supply instantly. And then people always say, it's like, well, who's doing it? Is it the scalpers and stuff? It's like, I think a lot of this is just being consumed. I think a lot of this is going to the end consumer. I know people don't believe that. I think they believe that it's just, and it goes, I'm not going to do my clock radio conversation, but if you guys have been following the radio, you guys know my clock radio, where, clock radio is built in China, and then all the people that are involved until eventually you buy it on your Walmart shelves. And then if you want to ever go feel good about yourself, go out to Walmart, buy a clock radio, and go in the parking lot and smash it. But I'm not going to do that rant. But pretty much the summary of that is every step along the way, from product development to you buying it and walking out the front door of Walmart, somebody made money along the way at every single aspect of that. And I think people think that's still happening with Pokemon, where it's happening. And we're definitely seeing more sellers than we ever have. But we're also seeing people who... All right, this is another segue that I want to talk about. There's a lot of frictional costs in Pokemon, right? And I think that's one of the things that hurts people the most when they do go to sell Pokemon. Like, there's frictional costs, like you have to get the item, you have to take photos of the item, list the item. When somebody buys it, you have to ship the item and package it and then send it to them, bring it to the post office, and then you have to wait for money and blah, blah, blah. And depending on the platform, if you're using a consignment service, blah, blah, blah. Frictional costs. That's what selling Pokemon is. Or if you're going to vend at a show, there's a lot of frictional costs that are involved, going from that card in your grandma's basement, making its way out to a table at some other state. Like, there's frictional costs along the way. And right now, the hobby is not optimized perfectly. When you look at other things, look at selling a stock, or looking at selling a crypto, or anything else that trades hands very, very smoothly, very, very little frictional cost. Like, if you have 1,000 shares of Apple, you could just click like one button and that's gone. And your Apple shares turn into dollar amounts. Frictional cost has always been a problem in this hobby. We are moving away from frictional costs, which is a huge net benefit of Pokemon and just this hobby. The removal of frictional costs, like one of the big ones, is PSA, doing their little PSA buyback. Whether you agree with that or not, whether you think it's ethical or not, I'm not really having that conversation about what is and what is not ethical. I'm just talking about what and what is not, getting rid of frictional things. And like 90%, that used to be your dream dollar amount to sell to vendors. Now, this is the thing. There could be... Nothing's a blanket statement. People hear 90%. Some of the offers are not good. You still should be understanding of like what you're selling. Not everything is 90%. Don't just blindly go in. But like, that's the thing too. Like, I think PSA is making a lot of money just off of people, not laziness per se. Laziness might be a poor usage of words. I don't think people are lazy. I just think it comes down to people's impatience in this hobby. Like, if you have a card that gets released by PSA, it's just going to take a while just for that card to go to to your vault, because it got shipped to your vault, and people just like, just take the money right now. Give me. I don't want to just wait an extra week, 7 days. Oh, in this hobby, 7 days might as well be 7 years, as That's, or maybe even 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights in the desert right there if you had to wait. Forget about 7 days. How about 40 days? But that's it, right? It's just a lot of things are being removed from the hobby. And it's like was a slow trickle effect. And it started really with consignment services. Consignment services were a a big help for a lot of people because what did it do? It removed a lot of that frictional cost, right? Frictional cost isn't always monetary. I am talking about frictional costs in two senses. One, the monetary, and then I'm also talking about frictional costs in just the work you have to put in. So maybe that's not the perfect definition, but I'm going to go with it because I don't give a fuck. Consignment services help remove that, right? It was just you got a big submission back, you could just send it to consignment, or the frictional grading costs of consignment plus services. You have a raw card and you just ship the raw card to the consigner or whatever they have set up. The card, they pay for the grading fee, they get the card graded, they list the card for you, and then you just kind of sit back and just enjoy the windfall or the benefits of that, right? And that helped with the frictional cost, but like now we're just moving into just a crazy amount of liquidity in this hobby. Now, is there a breaking point? Okay. This is where I struggle because a lot of the frictional costs that have been removed are for grading cards, for graded cards. A lot of these graded cards are being held with these, call them repackers, these online digital repackers. The GameStops of the, well, like GameStop is a big one's doing it. Fanatics Collect has the Insta Rips. Shout out if you guys do want to hop in. This is why I'm doing this live early. I will be live on Fanatics Live tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time doing Insta Rips. And I do want to tell you guys a big announcement that's going on for Saturday. Hopefully I do not forget that. But you have a lot of cards, and with these Insta Rips, these are pretty, or Courtyard.io does it, and there's a bunch of these virtual pack open. Courtyard, GameStop Power Packs, Fanatics, Insta Rips. Tomorrow there's going to be a new one. The day after that there's going to be a new one, and the day after that there's going to be a new one, and probably when it's all said and done there will be 20 different companies doing that. Walmart's going to get into it. Everybody's going to get into it, right? Like, don't sleep on Walmart right now. Walmart's doing things in the space but anyways, that's paywall. See what Probstein does. But see what eBay does, see what Whatnot does. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, and that is unquenchable demand right now today. So you're saying PK? I thought you were saying it's too late to send cards. Well, no. I never said it was too late. I said you missed your early opportunity. It's still there. Like, you should just be dumping right now. You should be sending everything. Like, I don't know how long that lasts. It will last until January. That's when you're probably going to look at your PSA submissions. You'll be fine for January. Like, and then ask me again. We'll reassess in January. We'll reassess in March. We'll reassess. We'll keep going. That's what this hobby is. That's what a lot of this is. Just a reassessing where you are at certain moments, certain little things you're doing. The unquenchable demand that these repacks. Do you know how many cards are required to fulfill these things? Like, a lot of these cards, they get rinsed in the platform. People pulling cards, buying. And again, it doesn't go to what you think about the product itself. You might think it's a good product. You might hate the product. You might think it's a scam. I don't care. That's not really the conversation I'm having. The conversation I am having is that they exist and the demand that exists to fulfill these. And as I told you, the more and more companies that are going to be popping up and the more and more of these are going to exist, the cards have to come from someplace. And where are they coming from? Well, you guys already kind of know where some of them are coming from. And like, you really haven't seen anything yet. You haven't. I'm sorry. It's the play's not over. This shit needs to be fulfilled. Somebody's got to do it. Is that going to be you? Maybe it's going to be you. Are you going to help? Are you going to do your part? Are you going to do your Starship Troopers? Do you want to know more? Are you going to do your part? I'm doing my part. Rest in peace, Buenos Aires. Uh, if you guys don't watch Starship Troopers, you have no clue. But do your part. Would you like to know more? That is so much. I don't know how much of the market is just being driven by that, but it's a lot. It really helps with EV. EV of sealed product too. There's a lot of stuff. What does EV of a sealed product mean? Expected value of opening packs. When you can grade everything, and now in this, like, can you grade every full art, every EX? It's like, yeah, can that last forever? No, it can't. Cannot. I promise you from the deepest my heart of hearts, that can't last forever. Forever is a long time. No one out there understands how long forever is, but it could last for a short term. And so what does that mean? Like, I'm talking, people don't even know. No one knows. You guys don't know. You don't even know. There's so much out there. So much of this stuff is being bought up, but it's just really buoying. There we go, buoying. You know how buoying works? It just keeps it floating above water. The hobby is being buoyed by all that right now because it's trickling down to everything. It keeps raw prices up. When raw prices are up, sealed product prices stay high. And if that ever ends, then raw prices will drop. Sealed product will probably drop in turn. Now, are they a one-to-one? They are most certainly not. But to sit here and tell you that the price of singles in a set have zero effect on the price of the sealed product, unless you want to go to some outliers, and we're going to start talking about, shout out to Emergent Powers. Do I have an Emergent Powers card here? Oh, God. Please, for the love of Arceus, tell me I have... Oh, look at that. Look at that. For all you Emergent Powers fans, we got a nice Tornadus full art from Emergent Powers. Yeah, if you're going to point to certain sets like that, it's like, come on, let's have an honest, real conversation. Nobody's open Emergent Powers, pulling singles. It's what is the real thing we're doing. We're open in modern stuff, and this shit exists. Now, do people actually want this stuff, though? Right? That's where it all comes down. I think when you peel back all the layers of the onion and you got tears in your eyes and you're crying and you don't know what to do, I think that's at the end of the day when you peel back the onion. Do people actually want this stuff? I think that's going to be an answer you're going to have to decide for yourself. I think there's a thing called collection identity. I think that's an answer you're going to have to answer. Do people actually want this stuff? Now, going to the crash of the market. With all that said, I did have a point. It took me about 10 minutes to get to it. When it talks about sustainability, the question is, now that all these slabs and stuff have been acquired by these Courtyard IOs and GameStops and Fanatics Insta-Rips and the future Walmart ones and the future whatnot ones and the future eBay Live ones, when all those exist and all those vaults are full, do they leave the vaults? Does that make sense? Some of these cards will inherently die there. Does that make sense? Or at least in timelines that matter. Like, they're spending so much money and so much time to acquire these cards to fill up, to have product for these repacks. A lot of these cards inherently, they just die there, meaning they never really make it to the end consumer because those will be the low end stuff that people constantly are selling back and stuff, or the cards that people don't really want or stuff, and they're not paying the shipping fees to have shipped back. A lot of these cards die there. So you have a huge inventory of graded slabs that more or less get evaporated from the market, that cease to exist. That is like end user dream in order to keep this train going. How long does that last? And like eventually everyone gets their full. Even Snorlax eventually eats enough, and Snorlax has to take a little nappy poo till you go get your Poke Flute and wake up the Snorlax so you can keep along your journey. But even the Snorlax eventually gets his fill. We are in the early stages of a lot of this shit. You don't even know. You don't know. I think some of you guys think you might know, but you don't know. I think you think you know, but you don't. We're just in the early stages. And the going is good right now. Phantasmal Flames 1 week from today. Mega Dragonites, or Mega Rayquaza in January. We got the Mega Starmie. Everyone hates the Mega Starmie. Everybody hates the Mega Dragonite because of the stupid wings. Wait till you see whatever Mega Dragonite card they come out. People are going to be foaming from the mouths to try to get a Mega Dragonite card with some stupid wings coming out of his head because artists are going to have their very simple ability. The art is just that simple. All right, chat. I was going to tell you I have a little something I wanted to tell you. That something I wanted to tell you was 2 days from now. So at the time of recording this video, this is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. On November 8th, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dan at Catch 'em All Collectibles, he will be sitting about right here. He's a little taller than me, so maybe about yay high. That'll be Dan sitting down right next to me in the old PK's grandma's basement. And me and Dan will be doing a little mega stream on Fanatics Live. So me and Dan will be here. Make sure you guys hop in. I'm sure we'll do a little YouTube live beforehand, and then we'll hop in. So, it's always fun to have Dan stop by the PK's grandma's basement. There's always deals to be had when Dan is here, especially during the lives. Make sure you guys hop in for that. But yeah, that's my PK rant. Now, this is the point where I scroll up to the top of the... Oh, wait. Did we not steal James's content yet? Shit. Not steal James's content yet. There we go. Oh, Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim. ZNG. Look at that. Fire red, leaf green, the old Charizard with a little flash fire. A little XY versus Nintendo EX timeline. Pop 237. 12,400. Pop 176. 14,200. That is not like the Chase Charizard. That's like the most common Charizard in Flash Fire right there. Alright, let's click next. Look at that. Little Black Star promo action. You got the beautiful Latias. Look at that. $10,600 hairs. Confirmed paid. That is fake. Shout out to old Bravery back there. Speaking of emergent powers, look at that. There's a Bravery behind the Latias. People don't remember, but we talked about emergent powers. That is the Bravery rookie card. It's an emergent powers for things that you need to not know. Oh, look at that. Moderner the better. Well, well, well. Look at what we have here. An Umbreon EX. This is a super, super modern English set card. It's a specialty set. Yes, Prismatic is a specialty set. Is it easy to pull? No. Is it impossible? No. If you could hit it in a CGC pristine 10, $7,000. Modern card right there. This is not a trophy card. There's not barriers of entry really for this. It just hit a CGC at pristine 10. This is it. This is the hobby. This is why shit ain't slowing down. Look at this. And then you got the Gengachu, obviously. The Chinese exclusive artwork. Awesome artwork. I get it. We'll probably never get it in English. If we do, that's that's Chinese volume 3, the surprise. Volume 3 is surprise. So you got Travel, Hope, Surprise. So Travel is volume 1, Hope is volume 2, and then Surprise is volume 3. So that's 151 volume 3 Surprise. That's the set name. Look at that. PK still got a little magic in the old PK gray felt hat. But $9,000 for Chinese exclusive artwork. And then that's the Sun Faded Zard and stuff. That stuff we already talked about. Damn it, James. You need to get your shit together. How am I supposed to steal your content if you don't put new stuff up? All right. We got Kino. It says, singing a little Destiny Child. Says, I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work harder. That's it, too. End of it. So, Beyonce, old Destiny's Child, they were onto something. You know what? It's the very end of it. You got to work harder. The thing is what, at the end of the day, what is your real advantage? What is your real advantage? What is your true advantage that you have against other people in this hobby? And I am a believer that you can outwork other people. And if you believe that, and maybe that's it too, it's just like you have to believe that. Do you believe that you could outwork somebody else in the hobby? And if you believe that you could outwork your competition, if you could outwork other people, then I think you could be successful in just doing that, just by working harder. Like, even in your real job, what do they say? Like 80% of most jobs is just showing up. It's true in real life. Well, this is still real life. It's true in Pokemon too. It's true in everything. Most of your job is just showing up. Whether that's turning the camera on every day and just ranting into the abyss. But we got Rattle, Mr. Rattle Pokemon. Good to see you, Rattle. We got Garen M. Garen, good to see you. Jonathan Flint, good to see you. Jonathan said perfect time. Yeah, did a little early live today. Nice. Raging Pikachu says it's been a while since I've been able to catch you live. Yeah, so maybe this is nice. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at the turnout for amount of people watching this on a impromptu. This was not planned. Obviously, I do Thursday lives, but never this early. Yeah, Inept says he crashed so hard his earbags have deployed. Shout out to Tap once again, Tap. I appreciate you. Shout out to Tap. Tap is the man keeping that Rattle Discord just churning. Man, Tap, you are. I know the Rattle Discord is free, but Tap, all right, Tap, I'm gonna give you a little PK secret, right? This is what you need to do, Tap. You need to. And Rattle, if you're watching this video, turn the video off. So now the Rattle Discord is free. We could all agree with that. I think the Rattle Discord always stays free, and everybody could agree with that. Tap, what you need to do is you need to create a paywall Discord. And Tap, there is only literally one group. There's no, it's the most boring Discord that ever exists. There is literally one Discord line, and it's notifications. And no one's allowed to talk in that except for you. The Discord is more or less dead. There is no conversation. There is no posting of memes. There is no happy hour chat. There is nothing. There is literally just one little thing. And you, Tap, only you, are the only one that could ping that. And so everyone could just have notifications on for your Discord, all notifications. And only you post. And so people could keep up with when the Target drops are, the Walmart, the Costco, the GameStop, the Pokemon Center, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You make people pay $1 a month. That's it, Tap. $1 a month. And what you do is you get out all the riffraff. And then everybody, because I'm telling you, you are doing a service for a lot of people when you ping Pokemon Center and you say add everyone. You should do that in a private Discord, and you just get $1 per person. You just create it through like a Patreon or $2 or whatever. Oh my God, Tab, you are leaving so much money. Now, that is not you. You're not monetizing the Rattle Discord. You're just getting paid for the services that you provide, and it's a completely separate, and all that does is say, check out Target right now. Like, that's it, Tap. I know. That's why I told Rattle to turn off the video. If Rattle Discord is free, but Tap, you do not need to be free. Tap, if I were you, I would create a $1. I'm not a paywall Discord kind of guy, but Tap, you could overnight. There's 70,000 people in the Rattle Discord. Overnight, you would get 1,000 people join yours, and no one could talk. It would be like a dead Discord, and it would literally only be you adding everyone, and then people could just have notifications on and just get all the restock notifications instead of having to like worry about missing shit because they only have the notifications on for your channel. That's it, Tap. You could pay for that. I would pay for that service. Tap, you 1,000,000% would get my $1 or whatever you would charge for that. Yeah, a lot of people shouting out Tap right now. Said, "Bless your little heart, there, Tap. Bless your heart." Uh, yeah, Katie says, "Is the Crash here in the room with us?" The Crash is here. Felipe de Sosa, good to see you, my Canadian brother. He says, "Early live, yes, please." Felipe de Sosa, appreciate you, buddy. And Tony says, "And just like that, the crash was over." Yeah, I want to tell you that Andy got away. I want to tell you that they let him be. But Tony, this ain't that kind of story. We got Mr. Kiki. Kiki says, "I was hanging out with PK in the morning stream." Here we are. Here when PK ran his face off. Kiki, I was just kind of repeating a lot of the stuff that I was practicing on the morning stream. Um, yeah. David Chen said, "Did we survive the crash?" He said, "No one survived." Um, Google says, "Japanese card grading for the most part." Yeah, a lot of Japanese, a lot of foreign languages. Um, Rattle thought that I didn't know I scheduled a live. I did know I scheduled a live. I'm going to be live on Fanatics Live tonight, so I'm not going to be able to do my normal time. Uh, see. Oh, Fresh Tat says he thinks the Gold Zard from Phantasmal Flame is trash. I don't think people understand how hard those are to pull. And because there's a little learning curve, maybe those cards never go crazy. So, Blue Water Collection says I found 7 cases worth of Prismatic Evolution poster collections at Dollar General. Wow, that's very nice. Let's see. So, Inept Card Collector says I got through. So, he's talking about the Pokemon Center, the drop. He said I got through the queue in 40 minutes and everything but the 2-pack was sold out. And when I clicked on it, I got booted to the back of the line. Inept. First world problems right there. You guys want to talk about first world problems? And there you go. Big Collector says PK saw me buy that Crystal Guardians pack from Bulbasaur. Yeah. Let's see. Cashmere says, I graded a regular Corviknight V from Battle Styles, got a PSA 9, and PSA offered me $53 for it. Cash, don't walk, run to that offer. You better be running as fast as you possibly can. Let's see. So, Mr. Hahn says, Prismatic is going to make people smack their heads for not grading and holding some in a year or two. Let's see. Argos says, "Why are you live, PK? I'm at work." I'm live because I gotta work tonight, unfortunately. Oh yeah. Cal says the McDonald's Pika tanked. Was that a surprise? Is this where I have to do my shocked Pikachu face at the McDonald's Burger Chew? I just want everyone to understand. The McDonald's Burger Chew was 10,000 copies per McDonald's in Japan. We figured out the number was there was 27 million burger chews handed out in one day. 27 million. And people do the shocked Pikachu face like that the card is dropped in value. Please. I think you're joking. I know you're joking, but like even though you're joking, there's probably somebody out there. I mean, that's the thing. The McDonald Burger Chews, like there was somebody out there. Well, one, there was a guy that paid the 21,000 for the black label, which I don't know what that's all about. But then there's the people that were buying all the early CGC pristines and 10s that Dan had on Fanatics Collect, and people buying like $230, $250 PSA 10s, and it's just like 27 million of these things were handed out, like, and they're in the process of being graded. Like the first to markets are the only ones getting the premium, and like, well, like that's the thing. It's like you could only bring a camel to water, but you can't make a camel drink, kind of thing. Like that's one of those. Like if it's like, hey, by the way, 27 million of these exist, and people are like, eh. Uh, Average player says PK definitely has an Akabane printer he bought on Alibaba. No, mine. I actually go to 7-Eleven anytime I have printing needs. Your average player. Mel says my Mega's already. My Mega Charizard got a BGS 9.5. Nice. So Mewtwo said PK should broadcast on an AM radio all day so we can listen at work. You guys could always tune into my Fanatics Live. I'm live 5 days a week. It started at 11 a.m. Let's see. Keep scrolling. Oh no, jump to the bottom. Let's see. I was saying, go on. Felipe just says, PK, the record spins, but it keeps playing the same song, which is a bump in the vinyl. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Pokemon Dentist! I haven't seen you in forever, he said. Sorry, I've been MIA. Can't get product anymore. Last year, 80K in product. This year, 5K. I haven't evolved to this new market, I guess. Pokemon Dentist, I missed you. Pokemon Dentist used to hop in all the time. Pokemon Dentist used to be in the Rattle Discord in the happy hour all the time, too. Pokemon Dentist. Hope everything's going good with you. Let's see. So Katie says, I'd pay $1 a month for a tap-only pins. Yep. I'm telling you, Tap, that's what you should do. And you would weed all the riffraff. And then you just, you ping that. And then you ping it for everything. The Target drops and the Walmart. And you know what? I'll pay you $1. So no one, I think a lot of people pay $1 so we don't have to check all those different groups. And you just pin the good ones. You don't go crazy, Tap. And you just get your $1. Pokemon Dentist. Goro says, I would pay $1 just to block the lunatics in the Discord. All right, chat. Is that where we end? That's where we end. I have to go to the post office. All my packages are already packaged up. I got another 200 cards going away for Graydon. Not one, but 200. That is in that box over there. And then I got all my items that I sold yesterday. Al says, PK, when you submit in job applications for the crash, I don't know, is Wendy's hiring? Is McDonald's hiring right now? I wish I worked at McDonald's Japan. I could have been rich for a day. Oh, 10,000 burger chews magically disappeared, and he's gone. All right, chat. With that said, appreciate you. Well, like I said, 80% of you, I really, really enjoy your time, and the other 20% of you, I really, really dislike. With that said, as always, appreciate most of you guys. As always, I will catch you on the next video. I will be live again Saturday. So make sure, I don't know what time, Saturday evening before we go live on Fanatics. Me and Dan, once again, will be in the PK's Grandma's Basement, just talking Pokemon. Maybe we'll talk, you know what? I don't think me and Dan's have a conversation just like, how's everything going? How's everything going Fanatics live-wise? It's been a year now. October 4th was the 1-year anniversary. I can't wait for my 1-year anniversary on Fanatics. That's February 1st. It's when my official going full time. That's my big. So we have our 1-year anniversary, but then I have my going full time. I think February 1st is going to be like a celebration for me from now until who knows. I'm going to turn it into a little PK holiday. That's what I plan on doing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to February 1st. But in the meantime, talking to Dan, just kind of maybe that's what we'll talk about. What did we expect versus what is actually happening? Because I expected more than Dan, but I can say that we both didn't expect the craziness that was happening. I definitely expected more, though. When I talked to Dan, he looked at me like I had 3 heads. But now, when I talk, I think Dan only looks at me as I have 2 heads. So, heal Hydreigon. Heal Hydra. All right. With that said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be safe. Be happy. And I will catch you all on the next live. Later.